And we're live. Welcome back, everyone, to CapitalCosm Live. My name is Danny. It is January 11th, 2026. And as you can see on your screen today, or tonight, we're doing this live, silver is currently at $83.28 on the futures market. Spot market is also breaking out. I mean, we are getting close to breaking that all-time high barrier, if we haven't already. So in addition to that, we also have gold up 2%, up $86 tonight. Copper up 6 cents, up a 1% move. Platinum up $78. It's getting wild, guys. But before we get started, nothing in this video is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And if you guys don't mind, let me know in the chat how my audio is coming out. Are we good to go? Give me a 1 in the chat. The audio sounds nice and crisp. And in addition to that, we also have this big breaking news as well. I know I didn't put this in the title, but this is huge, guys. So this says, this is from Geiger Capital. It says Trump's DOJ is now threatening Jerome Powell with criminal indictment. And this is an excerpt from a video that Jerome Powell just put up. And we're going to watch this video here in a second. This is wild. The world is just descending into chaos. And so Jerome Powell here says this new threat of criminal charges is a consequence of setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public rather than the preferences of the president. So it's Powell being punished for keeping interest rates too high. Does Trump want lower interest rates? And is this a war between the Fed and, I guess, the executive? Wild stuff. You know what? Let's get right into it. We've got the video right here. This should be the full 2-minute video. So let's go ahead and tune in. Actually, hold on. Let me make sure the audio is set up. Actually, let me just give me a second here, guys. I don't think the audio is set up on this. All right, we should be good now. Sorry about that.
Chair of the Federal Reserve.
Let's listen in.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve.
I see someone saying, is this AI? No, this is not AI. This was posted just a few minutes ago, actually. So this is breaking news.
Is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress.
It's not AI. It's not AI, guys. It was posted on the Federal Reserve's X page.
Informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
Yeah, so for all of you guys saying it's AI, this is straight from the Federal Reserve X page. Okay. So it's not AI. I know it looks like AI, but it's not AI. This was literally posted at 7:32 p.m. So about an hour and a half ago. So there you go. Wild stuff. So there appears to be, so this is from the Gold Telegraph. United States federal prosecutors opening inquiry into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. I have always said we would see the lights. Welcome to Hollywood. Jerome Powell says DOJ is threatening the Federal Reserve with criminal charges for refusing to follow President Trump's interest rate demands. Wow. So, what are the chances that is Jerome Powell going to buckle in the next couple of months? Because his term ends in 2 months. So this is extremely odd to go after him now that his term is pretty much at the end of its rope. Anyways, I mean, they're going to put in a new Fed chair in March to begin with. So this seems pretty petty. Maybe it's a signal. Maybe it's a warning sign for whoever replaces Powell that, they may just sacrifice Powell. They may just throw him under the bus and use him as a warning sign for the future administration to come, or not the future administration, the future Fed chair to come. So all sorts of things are happening now, guys. It is wild. Obviously, the stuff going on in Iran right now, what we saw in Venezuela last week. We might be invading Greenland soon. Who knows whether that's real or not? You also have the Europeans, the UK and the French talking about sending troops over to Greenland. But it's not what you think. They're not putting troops there to defend Greenland from us in the United States. They're putting there to reassure the Americans that Greenland is under the safe jurisdiction of the Anglosphere. That's how they put it. So be that as it may, there does appear to be a mad rush into pushing this agenda forward. They seem to be cramming 100 pounds of shit in a 50-pound bag, essentially. Excuse my language. There is a sense of urgency here to acquire Greenland, to take over Venezuela, maybe even Cuba next. They just joked today. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see this? President Trump was asked if Marco Rubio should be the president of Cuba, and he said, sure, why not? So this is it. And then let's not forget why we're all here. Silver, 83.33, up $4 almost in overnight trading. We are just about an hour removed from the Shanghai market opening, and we've seen a huge spike in the silver price. Let's go ahead and take a look at let's take a look at the minute by minute charts. And so this is where we're at right now. So spot is a little below the futures price, which is what we were looking at. We're at 82.65 spot. And we hit a high of $84 about an hour ago, as the Shanghai market went live. So, and you can see the gap up here. You can see the gap up here. This was the close this past Friday afternoon in the American market, the Western market. And then this is the open tonight. So a gap up from 79.94 all the way up to 80.26. Pretty decent gap. I'll take it. But this thing is spiraling out of control. Investors, average everyday people are looking for a safe place, or the most relatively safe place to put their assets in. And that's why you're seeing these precious metals run. So silver right now, you can see we spiked all the way up at the Shanghai Open at around $84 about an hour ago. And then over the course of the last hour, it's been getting dumped again. And this is what we usually see. Shanghai market opens up, and then they try their best to slam it down. But the night is young. The night is young, my friends. So I don't know how long I'll be up covering this tonight, but if we see some wild price action and some wild news developing, I'll be here as long as you'd like. So another thing to also look at is, well, let's take a look at oil. Oil is down 33 cents today. I sense that that's been stealthily and silently breaking higher lately. So let's go ahead and put up an oil chart, because why wouldn't it? The world is descending into chaos. We just had this meeting with all the big oil execs over the weekend. And these big oil execs weren't all too keen on moving into Venezuela for all the same reasons we outlined on this show last week, as we covered the Maduro arrest on these live streams. So it's not that easy to extract all that oil from Venezuela. What kind of bank is going to want to take on all that risk and loan out money to these oil companies to go out there and reestablish infrastructure, refurbish infrastructure? Who knows what kind of risks are involved with local militia groups? The government is still intact for the most part. Now, there is speculation that there's two different, there's competing factions within the government. As you know, there always is in this kind of stuff. There's a faction that's still pretty hard line, that's still pretty nationalistic on the Venezuelan side, that wants to protect their own sovereignty, and then there's another faction that wants to do business with the United States. And that's what's going on there. So it's not as clean cut. Just because we extracted Maduro doesn't mean it's pretty much a slam dunk from here. So all of these oil companies, if they are to go inside Venezuela, their losses are probably going to have to be socialized. So they're probably going to be given loans on the backs of the taxpayers to incentivize production out of Venezuela, which could take years as well, as we also outlined on the show last week. So oil, this is silver. Silver's currently crashing. Not crashing, but you know what I mean. You can see these red candlesticks. They're slamming it down. It's at 82.42 right now. Again, I started this live stream. Well, I started getting my materials together when the silver price was at $84. I know I said together. Yeah. When the silver price was at $84 is when I started working on my thumbnail, getting the stream up and ready. And then I went live around here. And as soon as I went live, this is what always happens. Anytime I go live with you guys, it just crashes the silver price. Is there a big paper buyer or something that's takes their eye off the screen whenever I'm live and stops buying when I'm going live? And it's also fascinating because the last time we did one of these streams, we were, let's take a look at the 2-hour candlestick. Oh, I don't know why it's okay. Yeah, so this is the 2-hour candlestick. So about a few days ago, we were covering silver markets. Just like we are tonight, and I pretty much logged out around here on the stream, and as soon as I logged out, this thing just skyrocketed up. It always happens. But it's all good. We're still in the game. On the 2-hour candlestick, you see we made this big spike up at $84, pretty much meeting the old all-time high at $84 on Christmas night. Sorry, this is December 28th. So we're seeing a little bit of a resting period, but some fascinating stuff coming out of the silver market to open up the week. I mean, if this isn't the harbinger of things to come this week, I don't know what is. Oh, and look at that. We're back up to 82.92. Let's pull it up on the minute by minute. And there you go. 2 big candlesticks. It's looking good, guys. And I just want to take it back to the 2-hour candlesticks. I want to exemplify some of these chart patterns that we're looking at here. And you'll see that we've been pretty much range bound between $70 and $82, some odd dollars on the 2-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, this is how it is. See, we broke free from the resistance line, right? On the 1-hour candlesticks. You could make the case that we may be retesting this now. 82.89. We did have a bit of backwardation at the start of the show. Now it seems to have dissipated. Spot silver and future silver are pretty much moving in tandem right now. And guys, again, like I mentioned this each time, like I'm super bad at promoting myself. Please hit that like and subscribe like 20 minutes into the video. The way YouTube Live operates is the more people engaging with your stream, the more likely it is to push it out to more people. So it's kind of like a recurring feedback loop. So if you guys don't mind hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that bell notification as well, all of that helps in boosting this live stream in the algorithm. I know we're like 20 minutes into the game here, but please hit the like and subscribe. It would do me a huge favor in pushing this content out to as many new people as possible. And I think we are getting a lot of new people on the channel based on the interviews that I pushed out recently. If you haven't seen it, I conducted an interview. I had 2 big interviews this past weekend. One was kind of like a debate / panel with Professor Jang and Simon Dixon. And another one was with Catherine Austin Fitz. And all 3 of those guys, they each have their own dedicated audience that just follows them around no matter what. And so I think a lot of those people may be getting exposed to this type of content for the first time. So if you see any people in the chat like that, well, let me ask this. Are there any people in the chat? Is this your first ever live stream? Is this your first ever video of mine that you've watched that's covering the metals ever since, discovering the channel over the weekend? We hope to get you guys up to speed. So there's that. But let's see what the debt markets are doing. See what interest rates are doing at the news of this Jerome Powell war. That is wild. The news just broke as soon as I decided to go live on YouTube about the Jerome Powell stuff. But let's see what interest rates are doing right now. Okay. Well, it doesn't seem like much movement. Yeah, there doesn't seem much movement on the news. We're set at 417 on the 10-year. We're about We're about 0.01 basis points down. Nothing. Pretty much flat. Same thing on the 30-year. No big news coming out of that. The dollar. Let's zoom out on the dollar. The dollar is pretty much on support right now. It's on this support line. If it breaks down beneath this support line, it's not good news for the dollar. So got something like this, you could say. And now we've got a little meeting point between this support line and this resistance line. Things appear to be converging sometime this year. We'll see what happens with the dollar. Let's see, we got a super chat from Johnny Vale. Thank you for the generous super chat, my friend. I wish you would stop going live. You're wrecking my portfolio, Danny. Yeah, like maybe I don't know what it is. Maybe just short silver when I go live or something. Not financial advice. Nothing in this video is financial advice. But it does always happen that way. It's always when I go off my stream, the price just bounces up. but it's interesting how it works out. Silver is currently at 82.85. Let's go. You know what? We haven't looked at gold in a while. Let's look at gold. Let's see what's happening on gold side. Gold looks amazing, guys. This is on the monthly candlesticks. Where else do you see something like this? This thing of beauty. Look at all of this army of green candlesticks here. Each one of these green candlesticks signifies a green month, an up month, a month where we closed higher than we opened. And as you can see, stretching all the way back to mid or October of 2023, this thing has just been all gas, no brakes. A work of art. You know, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. I mean, these are the weakest red candlesticks I've ever seen in my life. Look how weak these red candlesticks are in comparison to the gold, in comparison to the green candlesticks here on gold. Absolute domination on the precious metals part. And it doesn't look to be slowing down. You know what? Let's do this. Let's see. I'm going to overlay my time series AI model on here. And this is something I added on to my TradingView account. And by the way, if you want to open up a TradingView account, if you want to use the same tool that I'm using right now, TradingView, that is, I do have a special link down below for that in the description box. So if you want to check that out, it's in the description box. But this is an AI model that I added into my interface. And you see this little box here at the bottom right-hand corner where I have my mouse. It basically looks at past patterns and past movements in the chart, and it'll extrapolate where the trend is heading, just based off of this, crunching all the numbers as an AI model. So it says here, the uptrend is strengthening, and we're in a moderate up. So this thing is in a moderate uptrend on the monthly candlesticks. The uptrend is strengthening. So according to the model, what we've seen is only moderate for what's to come in relation as to what's to come. And it's only getting stronger right now. It's looking good. It's looking real good. Let's see. Let's go ahead and turn off the model for a second. And let's go and look at gold on the 1 minute chart. So we hit a high. So tonight, as soon as Shanghai opened, we were at 46.01. Now, 45.68. So they were able to. So the price of gold plummeted roughly $50 or so. Not even $50. Yeah, you could say $40 down to a low of 45.62 within an hour. So I could draw a trend line like this or like this, right? Something like this. We're about to break on higher, guys. So that's bullish. That's kind of a measly, weak descending wedge. But it's on a minute by minute candlestick. You know, it's all short-term movement. You know, when you're investing in anything, really, not just precious metals, the minute by minute stuff doesn't really matter. You want to zoom out. You want to take this view. This thing is a thing of beauty. And yeah, this kind of looks like a cup and handle almost, not quite, but you see what I mean? Cup, handle. Maybe it'll look like one if I do it on an hour chart. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect cup and handle. But if you squint your eyes, you guys can kind of see it, right? For those who don't know, a cup and handle is a continuation pattern to the upside. And one way of distinguishing or projecting out the upward trajectory on the cup and handle is just by taking the bottom to the top and overlaying it on the breakout, which would be like right here. So is this signaling a move to $4,800 gold? Somewhere around here. Yeah, $4,800 gold. Is that coming down the pike this week? It's a $300 move. Let's see if silver has that same cup and handle. Oh my gosh. That is cool. Okay, so this one's even better. How did I not see this before? So this one's got an interesting cup. So this is the silver 1 hour chart. So you guys can see the cup and then the handle, right? So let's extrapolate out what this implies for silver. So we're going to take the bottom and we're going to take the top of the cup and then overlay it on the top. And you're looking at $100 silver. So $4,800 gold, $100 silver. And this is on the 1 hour candlestick. So this could be, I mean, who knows when this arises, but this is a cup and handle that's formed since the end of December. So this is about a 2-week cup and handle. So this could be by the end of the month. We could see, so this is kind of signaling that we could be looking at $100 silver, $4,800 gold by the end of the month, maybe in the next couple of weeks. Who knows? Okay, we got another super chat here. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see. This is from Jack Lyons. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Lyons. Hey, Danny, check out U.S. home prices against silver using USS FHP for home prices on TradingView. Unbelievable head and shoulders pattern. Maybe ask your guests about it. So let's do that. I actually have never used that ticker, USS FHP. So let me just, okay, so this is United States single family home prices. Oh, well, switch to monthly. Oh, interesting. This is like a, what would you call it? Like a chainsaw or yeah, you can clearly see the seasonality in this chart. So this goes all the way back to, I don't know if you guys can see it, but 1968. It goes all the way up to here. It's been a steady move up. And you can see home prices spike in the summer and dip in the wintertime, right? So all of these whipsaws, this is just a seasonality. So, okay, so what did you want me to do? So pull this chart up and prices against silver. Check out home prices against silver. Okay, so then I'm going to take this divided by silver. So this is U.S. home prices divided by silver. You know what? I'm going to add this to my list, USSFHP. So this will be added to my short list here. All right, so this is U.S. home prices priced in silver. Man, yeah, there it is. Just like you said, shoulder, head, shoulder. So U.S. home prices are getting demolished, priced in silver. Look at that. So one can make the case that home prices are actually cheap. They may be expensive in nominal dollar terms, but in terms of silver, you can buy more homes today with a unit of silver than you could pretty much at any other point over the last 13 years. Looking at the ratio. Damn. That is cool. Well, thanks for the heads up. Let's see. You know what? Let's go ahead and look at SIL. Because SIL, the mining stocks, silver miners, there's a lot of intrigue with the silver miners. I know a lot of you guys own silver mining stocks. And here's the thing with silver miners, we're starting to see these shortages, these unavailabilities with silver at a lot of these bullion dealers. And we'll get to my good partners over at the Bullion Center Pro in a second. But you're starting to see all these shortages in different silver products. But once that really hits, once silver becomes unobtainium, do you guys know where people are going to go at that point? Because here's the rationale people often put on the table. When gold spikes up and the price becomes unobtainable for the average everyday person, where do they go? They go to silver. But if silver begins seeing shortages, and the price of silver pretty much goes to infinity, that's what a shortage is. If you can't even buy it with any amount of money on earth, that's pretty much price at infinity. So if silver is unobtainium, where else do people go? They go to the silver miners. That's the only outlet left. If you want exposure to silver. Now, I know you could, if you really wanted to, you could get a little scrappy and, get, find silver, on eBay or not eBay, but you know what I mean. If you really wanted to get your hands on some silver, you could probably find some, but you'll be paying a hefty premium. So here's the SIL Silver Miners ETF. And we've been banging our heads at the wall waiting for this thing to begin outperforming silver. So I'm going to draw a line here. And over the last year, the Silver Miners ETF has gone to the upside. Doesn't look too bad. However, if I chart silver on here, let's do same percent scale, and let's make the silver price white. So there really isn't much overperformance. Like, why would you bother owning mining stocks with all of that added risk that comes with mining stocks when you could just own the metal and have it in your possession? So this is why a lot of us have been kind of scratching our heads. Like, when is this thing going to pick up? Now, granted, I see we have a super chat here. I'll get to that in a second. We did see a pretty big gap up. Silver miners were outperforming the price of silver since until recently, until the last few weeks, actually, until we closed out the year 2025. But you'll see a massive gap here. The mining stocks were up 144%, while silver was up 81%. So you could make the argument that as silver continues to dry up, if you believe that's going to happen, then capital will surely rotate into the silver mining stocks. And now silver mining stocks are pretty much in parity, not over, at least within the last year or so, to silver. So let's go. I see we have a super chat here. Let's go ahead and read that. Okay, so this is from Sageful. Have you seen the videos about HSBC and UBS having to sell massive shorts by January 31st? Brave browser confirms this info, but Google doesn't. Thoughts? Is it true? Have you seen the videos about HSBC and UBS? No, I haven't. Is that like where is that from? Is that like an Asian AI guy video or something? No, I haven't. I mean, I'll search for it. I could do a quick search on it really quick. I won't hold off the stream too long, but HSBC, UBS silver short. Let's see. Hang tight, guys. Another bank desperate. Okay, so it looks like there's some post about it on X. I haven't verified this, so I'm just reading it out to you. So reading it out to you guys. So let's go ahead and see what this says. So I'll try and make sense of it as we go. Another bank desperate to get out of this short position on silver. Goldman Sachs were told a couple days ago if they don't get out of here short by at least 60%, they will be liquidated less than 45 days. Now, HSBC have been told to get out of their short position by the end of the month. The writing is on the walls that all banks have been officially put on notice that they need to purchase silver on their shorts or get liquidated. HSBC has to exit all silver positions on January 31st. Yeah, but where's the source? Let me ask Grok. Is there a verified source behind this? So we'll let Grok figure this out, and we'll get back to our charts here. We'll check back in a few seconds. Actually, you know what? Let's do a quick shout out to our good friends over at the Bullion Standard Pro. If you haven't checked them out already, I highly suggest you do. Number one, you support the channel. Number two, you support yourself. With prices sky high as they are, you want to save as much money as possible on your precious metals investments and purchases. And one way of doing that is to get around the upcharges and the fees that you would see at these other bullion dealerships. So what you'll often notice is that there's a spot price and then there's a dealer price at all these other bullion dealers. But at the Bullion Standard Pro, you could sidestep all that pretty much. And the way to do that is they're offering a Costco-like, Sam's Club-like business model. So effectively, you pay $35 a month and you get access to their gold and silver products at wholesale cost. For example, as they've outlined here, you can get a silver American Eagle, currently going for retail at $97. If you're a member, you get it for $88.24, saving you $8.77. If you get 20 of these bad boys, you save yourself $173. If you get 100 of these bad boys, $857. That's silver American Eagles. If you want to look at 1 ounce silver rounds, those are going retail price on average. And this is a real-time aggregation of all of the retail prices circulating the internet right now, guys. So on average, 1 ounce will cost you about $93.76. You get it at the pro price for $84.44. Net savings of $9.32. If you get 20 of these bad boys, $174 savings. If you get 100 of them, $809. The membership basically pays for itself. It's a slam dunk deal. So we have a special link down below. Be sure to check it out and use promo code COSM10 at checkout to get 10% off your first month. You want to get that 10% off your first month, guys. So check out the link down below. Let's go ahead and check back on Grok. Let's see what he has to say. So no, there isn't a verified source confirming the specific claim about Goldman Sachs being required to reduce its silver short by 60% within 45 days, or HSBC being forced to exit all silver positions by January 31st to avoid liquidation. These appear to stem from unverified rumors circulating in online silver trading communities, including Telegram and X posts, often tied to speculative predictions to extreme price surges. Recent market analyses and official forecasts from the banks themselves focus on silver's volatility and supply tightness. Okay, so they're basically saying it's looked all over the internet, couldn't find any sources behind these. All in all, skeptical commentary and financial discussions notes that these rumors misrepresent short data and lack backing from credible outlets. Yeah, you've got to be careful with these rumors, guys. I've been seeing them a lot, especially over the last month or so. The silver space has been inundated with this junk. And it may be an operation, maybe just people are just too excited. And this is kind of predictable. About a year ago, the silver space was really just like people who had been stacking silver for years, if not decades. And as silver began gaining momentum, the quality of the audience, let's say, is going to deteriorate. The quality was very constrained, very focused, had a low threshold for bullshit. But now, as things start getting more mainstream for silver, I'm not saying it's mainstream, but the door is open. Mainstream interest has just begun coming in. And as soon as that happens, you're going to get all sorts of BS and all sorts of claims. But that's natural. This is what we would anticipate. See, we got another super chat here. Oh, so yeah, because you said thank you again for the super chat, Sage. See, my concern was because Brave browser confirmed it. Yeah, that's really odd. I would ask Brave to cite its sources. Like, can Brave give you a link of like a credible article anywhere? But yeah, guys. Speaking of mainstream interest, let's go ahead and check out, get an update on Google searches on silver. So if you haven't seen any of my previous analyses, what I also like to do is I like to take a gander at Google Trends and pretty much track how many people are searching the term silver price or buying silver. In this case, we're using silver price. And this is a worldwide report. So you'll notice here, this goes back 90 days, back to October. You'll see we spiked up a lot on December 29th. And now it's kind of come back down a bit. So public interest is still elevated, I would say, but it's come off the highs. If you look at this thing from a 12-month view, yeah. So you had a big spike in interest on October 12th to the 18th. Another spike towards the end of December. Now we've come back down from frenzy, but we're still elevated compared to where we were the last 12 months. Now, the last 5 years, you see this little bump here? This was the last, actually, no, this is 2021. This was the, what did they call it? The silver short squeeze from Reddit. This is where we're at today. Now, granted, we have come down a little bit, but we're pretty much at the same level that we were back at that silver short squeeze mania in 2021. So, yeah, silver has surged over the last several months, and you can see it here in the data. See, we've got another super chat. Jalen Michael, USA. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Powell indictment. He waited till markets open. You know how they start all these wars like on the weekend to avoid the market being open? Powell did the opposite. Powell sent out a video overnight right before Monday. I know some of you guys might think that this is like some coordinated scheme between Powell and Trump. They're secretly working together, but why would Powell do that? It seems to be a pushback. Because if they're working together, why would Trump want to drop this news right as the market's open? It doesn't make sense. So that's a very good point, Jalen. Thank you for the super chat. So yeah, this is the last 5 years of data based on how the volume of people searching for silver prices. If you look back even further, let's say all the way back to 2004, we've never been higher. We're sky high. Now, 2011 was the last big silver run. This is the last time we hit $50, was in 2011. And it says here that search query interest, the search volume interest back then was about 16% of the volume interest today. Now, granted, this was 15 years ago. If you look at the internet adoption curve, I think we have 3 or 4 times as many people online today versus like 2010. So you'd have to adjust that. So if it's 3 times as many people, then that's like 45% then, right? 16 times 3, 48%. About half of what we're seeing today. So it's looking interesting. All right, let's take another check up on silver. Silver's at 82.46. Gold at 45.75. Copper at 5.95. So not much movement right now from the metals. You know what? Let's go ahead and take a gander over at X. See what some of the people are saying as it relates to Powell. Yes, my name is Danny, guys. I don't know why you would doubt that. It's not Daniel. It's Danny. That's it. Geiger Capital says we're going full-blown banana republic. This is absurd. Trump's DOJ is now threatening. Yeah, we read this at the start. This is from Brent Johnson. It seems to have officially arrived. And he's referencing a post he made in 2022, which is basically the battle everyone sees on the left is the U.S. versus Russia and China. The battle that no one sees on the right, which is the Department of the Treasury versus the Federal Reserve. Is this what we're seeing? Interesting. Well, look, I think they may just end up swallowing the Fed, consolidating the Fed within the Treasury at this point, because there are some big moves being made. There are some big moves being made to consolidate power within the executive. So I'm not going to get too deep into this, but President Trump did say, why do we need a Congress for? And they seem to be acting with great haste to get all the stuff done pretty quick. Like they know something big is coming. You know what? I mentioned this to, I won't say who, but one of my guests last week, one of the, big fan favorite. I brought it up to him. I was like, why do you think, don't you see the same level of urgency that I do when it comes to all the stuff that Trump is doing with regards to Venezuela, Greenland, Iran, the stuff that they did with the ICE, all the ICE stuff. I'm not going to get into that, but it's all seeming like they're rushing to get something through the door. It feels like they see that there's something coming down the pike and they're rushing to get it through there. Or they've just pushed too much now and they've got to go all the way, because if they don't go all the way and in 2028 a different administration comes in, then they may be all going to jail. So they've got to go all the way. Now they've put themselves in a situation where they've got to. Either way, it's pretty captivating. I'll say that. But yeah, I mean, this is what we're seeing: the U.S. Fed versus the Treasury. Yes, the Gold Telegraph. Jerome Powell says DOJ is threatening the Federal Reserve with criminal charges for refusing to follow President Trump's interest rate demands. Vince Lancy, my apologies, Vince. He says, some waited decades for this moment. Some never lived to see it. So he's talking about the move in precious metals tonight. The greatest evidence of suppression was its own disappearance. They unravel it slowly, believing no one was watching. But we are watching. And you have never seen anything like this because the world never has. It's not just once in a lifetime. It's once in any lifetime. Once in all the lifetimes that have existed on planet Earth. And we get to be a part of it. Isn't that cool? Let me ask you guys a question, actually. This is more spiritual or philosophical, but I'm interested in getting your take. Do you enjoy living in these times? Do you enjoy living in these historic times that we're living in today? Or would you rather be living in peaceful times, maybe pre-2000, pre-2001? I'm curious to get your answer. Do you guys enjoy this? Are you grateful to be living in interesting times? Or would you much rather be living in comfortable, easy, peaceful times? If you'd rather be living in these times, drop a 1 in the chat. If you'd much rather live in peaceful, predictable times, drop a 2 in the chat. I'm just curious to kind of see what you guys think. See, we got another super chat. Peter Mitchell says, you should invite Cliff High onto your show. He has been calling for moves and silver $5 and $10 each day for like many years now. Cliff High. I know the name. I do recognize the name. I don't watch Cliff High, but I think I have seen a few videos of him. I'll have to look into him. But thanks for the super chat. Thanks for the recommendation. So let's see what you guys are saying. A lot of you guys are writing 1s. I see some 2s though. I'd say it's about 60-40. Like 60-40, 60% of you guys would prefer living in interesting times as opposed to peaceful, predictable times. Interesting. All right. So silver set a new all-time record. So this is an update from earlier tonight. 80. So yeah, it hit $84 right before we went live. It's the way it always happens for some reason. I mean, maybe I should stop doing these lives when we have this this momentous news all the time, because it's like a wet blanket. Gold explodes over $100 an ounce at $4,600. Yeah, it did. Well, let's go ahead and check it back up on it. Let's see what we're doing now. Nice. We're back up. We're up over 83 again on silver. Gold's getting close to 4,600 again. Happy days are here again. Let's see what the charts are saying. Let's see what the charts are saying. And again, guys, if you're getting value out of this content, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. It certainly does go a long way in helping push this live stream to the ether. Okay, let's do the 1 minute breakdown and let's look at the candlesticks. So yeah, it's like the observer effect in quantum mechanics. Like as soon as we stop observing it, like around here, remember when we just like went off into different topics? It was like 82.50. As soon as we went off to different topics, it spiked to 82.43. Now that we're looking back at it again, it's dropping. What the hell? Okay, now it's going back up. $83.24. All right. Well, let's see. Can we? Looks like we had a breakout here on the 1 minute candlesticks. I'm just doing this for fun, guys. There's really no point in, unless you're a trader, unless like you're a high frequency trader trading in and out of these assets daily, like on a day trading basis. There's really no point looking at the minute by minute charts unless you're just bored or doing a live stream like me. But it is fascinating to watch on a Sunday night. There's nothing else to do, so it's too dark to watch grass grow, right? But yeah, so we did have a breakout on the minute by minute candlesticks. Boom, at 82.62, moving higher. Slow it down a bit. We'll see what happens. But yeah, tonight's move has been great. A great start to the week. So we kicked off the night at $80, $83. So higher highs, higher lows. It's the way we want it. Let's see what gold's doing. Are you serious? It's the same pattern. Okay, silver, gold, silver, gold. It's pretty much the same pattern, guys. Yeah, so gold, this is gold. Gold broke out. And you could say, are we doing like a bull flag here? You see what I'm seeing? Yeah, it's a bull flag right there. So we may come back up and test the resistance. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so we may come back up and test the resistance. That could be the time we break out of this bull flag and move on higher on the minute by minute candlesticks. We've got to break 4,600 on the gold chart. Do we have a similar bull flag here on silver? Silver looks like this. So yeah, we do have something akin to that. You see it? Yeah, that's a bull flag. That's the pole. That's the flag. Typically, when you see patterns like this is what you call a bull flag. This implies a move to the upside soon. So I hope we break this $84 barrier, this hang up that we've had since the start of the year. For whatever reason. Well, it's all buyers and sellers fighting over the price. But anyways, we'll put that to the side. We'll go back to looking at the news. See if there's any new updates here from the news. Something is about to break. So this is from the great Martis. I fear the silence that comes after the break will be worse than the breaking itself. God help us all. Yeah, it's like we're watching a train wreck in slow-mo. Let's see what Peter Schiff has to say. I am not a fan of Powell, but I agree with him on Trump's motivation. This is part of the reason gold is soaring to record highs this evening. In truth, Powell and Trump are wrong. Monetary policy is too loose and interest rates are too low. Look, guys, we're in an increasing interest rate environment. The 10-year yield chart, if you haven't seen it, I've posted it a number of times here on the channel, but I'll go ahead and pull it back up. But I don't think there's anything Powell or any of these clowns can do about it. This is the chart of the U.S. 10-year yield. This is the interest that is paid on 10-year debt. So if you were to buy a 10-year treasury from the government, this chart tells you how much interest the government would pay you. And as you can see, this chart goes back to the 1900s, 1917, 1913 to be exact. What happened in 1913? I wonder what. But yeah, you'll see that we broke. There is a trend to the downside, and we broke it. Let's look at it from a logarithmic scale. And that 40-year trend that started in the 80s has seemingly broken. It broke in 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine and when we froze all of their assets. And what happens then is foreigners and investors, they start to second guess whether or not they want to own U.S. treasuries because we showed signs of the wall cracking on the facade that we are a law-based society. So the big reason capital flows into the United States or has flowed into the United States, still does, is because we are a country governed by the rule of law. So if you're a foreigner, you can rest assured your capital here is safe. There's the court systems here in the United States to protect you against disputes, and you can adjudicate to a jury of your peers and so forth. But once we froze those Russian assets, that got the world thinking, is it really safe putting our money in U.S. debt? And that's when you saw yields spike, because yields only spike when demand on bonds goes down. So yield spiked. And to be fair, it has pretty much been moving sideways now since late 2022. But nonetheless, this is a spike up in the interest in the trend. And the last time we had an increasing interest rate environment, and I've got to credit my good friend Andy from Finding Value Finance for talking about this. But the last time we had a spike in interest rates was back in the 1940s. 1941, it peaked in 1981. Now, what's interesting here, I'm going to blow your mind. You ready? You might want to strap in. I'm going to add in silver. And I'm going to do a number of things. First, I'm going to turn it white so you guys can see it. And then I'm going to make it logarithmic. So what do you notice? Silver, this increasing interest rate environment was a catalyst. Well, not a catalyst, but it pretty much moved hand in glove with silver's move from when interest rates were bottoming here at 1.9% in 1941. Silver was at what, 34 cents? And then silver went on to 11x. No, more than that. Yeah. 100x actually, from 34 cents to $50, more than 100x within 40 years. And you'll notice that when we were in this decreasing interest rate environment, silver pretty much moved sideways. The peak here was pretty much the end. It coincided with the end of the silver bull, this long-term silver bull market. And ever since we were moving down, silver was just moving sideways. Now, this is silver priced in dollars. So if you control, so obviously the more money we print, we've been printing a lot of money, guys. And the more money we print, it adds upside pressure to assets. So what if I do silver price in gold? Because gold, you can't print more gold. What is this? Oh, never mind. You know what? Let's do silver price in M2 money supply. That didn't go as planned. Let's control for the money supply. And what you'll notice is this is not on a log scale. For some reason, TradingView won't let you do ratios on a log scale or M2 money supply on a log scale. But be that as it may, the point still stands. When you price silver in M2 money supply, you'll notice that it's been in a bear market since interest rates started coming down. That's because the way markets work is it's all about rotation. If more money is going into bonds, which is what we saw, which is what we've seen the last 40 years, then that's less money to go into other assets, and that includes silver. But now, less money is going into bonds relative to what it was before. That money has to find a new home. That new home, gold and silver. That's what's happening right now. So we are closer to the 1940s than probably any other point in time. And this was a 40-year move up in interest rates. And so these metals, people talking about the top is in on silver, $85. You're going to be stuck in this. If you don't sell now, you're going to be stuck holding this stuff for another 20 years. It's like, my guy, like, you not see this? Like, there's something much bigger happening here. Like, this is a generational shift in capital away from bonds and into something else. And what do you think that something else is going to be? Well, we're seeing it happen in real time. That something else is gold and silver. Because it's certainly not crypto getting a bid. It's not Bitcoin getting a bid. What is getting a bid is gold and silver. So let's take that out. And I want to look at the silver to M2 money supply ratio just to exemplify, to illustrate to you guys how much they've diluted the price of silver over the years by just printing money. Yeah, silver has been in the dumps up until recently. But if you look at the price of silver, controlling for how much money is sloshing around, if it were to go back to 1980s level, so whatever the price was in 1980s compared to the money supply in 1980s, if we were to adjust for that, you're looking at a silver price of 750% more than where we're at today. So that's an 8.5x. 8.5x, 8.5 times 80, let's say, let's keep it nice and clean. That's $640. Around the, 600 is maybe $700. That's what you're looking at when you adjust for M2 money supply. So yeah, we have started to move on up, but we're not even at the 2011 high yet. And it's been pretty clear sailing. Like, this line is fairly vertical. And if you believe, if we were to speculate here, okay, let's recount what's just happened, what we started the show with. Jerome Powell under investigation, and then he posted this video on the Federal Reserve page claiming that Trump is doing this because he wouldn't keep interest rates. He wouldn't bring interest rates down. This sends a message to the next guy that comes after Powell, because he's going to be gone he's going to be gone regardless in 2 months. Okay. Bye-bye, Powell. Adios. Take care. Brush your hair. All right. But the next guy that comes in, you think he wants to suffer the same fate as Powell? He's going to do exactly as he's told. And what is he going to be told? Let the money printer rip. And once that happens, this denominator, the M2 money supply denominator, is going to expand higher. Okay? This ratio, the price of silver is going to have to explode even higher to match that expansion of the money supply. So we could be looking at even greater price, at a price even far exceeding $600 at that point. Does that make sense? Because to regain parity to the 1980s ratio, and I'm not saying we will get there, but if you do get there, if that is your measuring stick, that's a 750% move on the basis of the M2 money supply today. That's assuming that the M2 money supply stays constant. Now, if these guys start ramping up the money printer, the denominator on that ratio is going to expand. So if you are using that 1980s level as your North Star, the price of silver, if the M2 money supply, let me put it this way, if the M2 money supply doubles, then instead of an 8.5x, you're going to be looking at a 17x on the silver price from current levels. Let's say 20x. That's like $1,600 4-digit silver. Are you kidding me? That's how wild all this stuff is. Does that make sense, guys? But I think, look, the midterms are coming up. They're going to let the money printer loose, guys. Let's see. We got a super chat from Fuzzy Balls. How long do you predict before the paper exchanges stop offering silver? The risk is becoming too great for the exchanges. Well, whether they offer silver or not, I think what's happening is irreversible. They're becoming more and more irrelevant. Like, at what point do the paper exchanges stop being a meaningful representation of the delivery price, the actual physical price? Because that's really what they're there for. If it costs you $100 to buy silver, but the paper market says $80, the paper market is meaningless at that point. Like, if you're an industrial buyer of silver and you've got to spend $100 an ounce to buy this stuff, do you care what the paper market says? Like, we're getting to that point where it's just they can say whatever they want. They can say silver is worth $2. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's worth $2. They can identify as an attack helicopter, right? They can identify whatever pronouns they want to use. It doesn't matter. Only thing that matters is reality. You can ignore reality, but you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And they're going to try to, there's going to be a greater and greater disconnect between the paper price and the delivery price, and the paper price in Shanghai and the paper price in New York and LBMA and Dubai and all these other places. This entire thing is blowing up. This is unprecedented. What we're seeing today did not happen in the 1980s. Okay. A couple billionaires got together in the form of the Hunt brothers, and they cornered about a third of the silver supply or something, and they jacked the price up. Okay, this is much bigger than that. So this little spike here, I say little tongue-in-cheek, obviously, but this spike here in 1980, I mean, this could be nothing. This could be nothing in terms of what's to come, because there are nation states, there are banks, everyone, like, it's game on. Let's see. Let's check back up on silver. We've got the silver to M2 money supply ratio. Where are we at on the spot silver market? Let's see. All right. Let's see. Yeah, we're at the top of the bull flag. It could be game time, guys. We're about to launch. Strap in. Everyone in the chat should be a future king and queen. That's right. Great white cat. So, yeah. On the minute-by-minute chart, we just are we going to retest this line anymore, or is this it? Is this game time? Let's go back up and check up on X. Let's see what they're talking about. Okay, so this is Lynn Aldens. He's commenting on Powell. Pretty much the most direct clash between the Fed and the executive branch since 1951. And the 2020s equals the 1940s thesis is still on track. This is what we were just talking about. We were looking at the interest rate chart. We're in an increasing interest rate environment, just like we were in the 1940s. And things are happening pretty much symmetrical to the 40s and the 50s. So we are at the very tail end of the fourth turning. It's about to come to a head. We are going to see a new world order. I don't know how it's going to look like, but the world is being carved up. And it could be really messy, or maybe there's a grand bargain at play. If you follow the likes of Simon Dixon, he kind of postulates that there's a grand bargain at play secretly, that all these great powers, they're all carving up the world, and they're all setting up their own control grid and their own respective control grids. But the opposite of that is, we're about to fight it out, and maybe all this stuff isn't as agreed upon as some may hope. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. China silver on the Shanghai Futures Exchange just exploded to $91, up 11.5%. Good God. An 11% move on silver. Bonkers. Absolute pandemonium happening in the metals market. Do we have any new viewers in the chat? If you're a new viewer, give me a 1 in the chat. And if you are a new viewer, what do you think? Are you enjoying the live stream? Let me know your thoughts. I'm curious. I'm curious how many new viewers we've gotten from the guests that we had this weekend who are watching this. Eric Jung says, so he's reporting on the Fed Chair Powell under criminal probe by federal prosecutor. If this is not a super quick highway to physical gold and silver revaluation, I don't know what is. Sucks for Jay Powell, though. So he says here, oh, he's just quoting CNBC. Let's see what else Eric has. He also has pretty hot takes. So I'm going to steal from his feed here. Jason Barak says, Jerome Powell. Oh, again, I'm horrible at promoting myself. Before we get into that, if you don't already follow me on X, it's at CapitalCosm. We're currently at 5,247 followers. Let's get that number up to 10,000. Let's say by the end of February, let's say. So if you guys don't mind following me on X, I would gladly appreciate it as well. So let's go back and read the tweets here. So Jason Barak, he says, Jerome Powell protected Lisa Cook for many months and other extremely corrupt Fed governors over the years who stole many millions extra for themselves via insider trading, got to resign without any criminal charges. Okay. So he thinks Powell should be looked at? Just Dario says, ladies and gentlemen, the dam protecting silver shorts from being flooded by margin calls just broke. The ultimate silver squeeze now beings. The ultimate silver squeeze now beings. No, begins. Enjoy the ride and don't forget to take profits when the price overshoots 2021 GME style. Yeah, well, it's not going to happen. It might overshoot. I mean, I'm sure it's going to overshoot. But I don't think we're going to see the end of this anytime soon. I mean, from the basis of the charts that we just looked at, this is a long-term trend reversal. We're leaving the old world order, the old monetary system. We're at the very last stages of this fourth turning, and we're entering into a new monetary system, a new world order. And if history is any guide, gold and silver will continue rallying up until the third turning, up until the end of the second turning, which corresponds to the 1980s. The 1980s was the start of the third turning, I believe. So metals will rise from this point all the way out until the second turning, maybe 40, 30 years from now, whenever that is. But does it overshoot in the near term and spike up and come back down? Sure, whatever. But if you're not a trader, then just fade all that noise. The attack on the Fed so this is from Vince Lancy. The attack on the Fed is a big deal. Doesn't matter if it's valid or not. A sacred cow has been wounded. Fed autonomy and subordination risk is no joke. Also, LOL. Yeah, this is a big deal. And again, like the super chatter mentioned earlier, he posted this on Sunday night, right before the market opens. Legendary. China halted silver deliveries. So this is an AI guy video. Oh, 27 minutes. We'll watch a part of it. Let's see what he has to say. We're not going to watch the entire thing.
Prediction. It is not. I need you to turn off the television. I need you to close the other browser tabs, even the adults' websites.
Don't close anything.
I need you to listen to me very carefully, because what I am about to tell you is not speculation. It is not a prediction. It is not a theory. It has already happened. Ladies and gentlemen, Asian guy here. The event that we have been warning about for years, the event that the mainstream financial media told you was impossible, the event that the bullion banks swore could never occur, just occurred. And it happened while you were sleeping. It happened while the Western world was distracted by headlines about Iran. It happened on Thursday night, January 9th, 2026. The Shanghai Gold Exchange failed to deliver physical silver. Not failed in the sense of a small delay. Not failed in the sense of...
Is this true? Did they really fail to deliver physical silver recently? Can you guys go check this? Because while we do the little watch along thing, because some of the info he gives is good. Some of it is obviously made up. So yeah.
A technical glitch. Failed in the sense that 98.5% of the metal that was requested simply did not exist. Failed in the sense that the vault doors opened and there was nothing inside. Failed in the sense that the paper promises were exposed as lies. Let me give you the numbers, because numbers don't lie. Politicians lie, bankers lie, the media lies, but mathematics is truth.
All right, I think that's enough. But yeah, so he's pretty much saying China halted silver deliveries. We'll fact check that. I don't know if we'll have time tonight, right now. Actually, you know what? We'll do it live. Oops. I see we got a super chat. We'll get right to it, Jack. But let's just do this really quick. Did China halt physical silver deliveries like this video says? All right, so while that's loading, we'll pull up the super chat. It's from Jack Lyons. He says, "Thank you for the generous super chat again, Jack. Has Tom Luongo had a reality check with Trump and Powell yet? LMAO, plan trusters, love your work, Danny. P.S. My name is pronounced like the animal." Yeah, everyone has their theories. I mean, anything's possible, I guess. But Lions. Thank you, Jack. So Grok came back and said, no, there is no credible evidence that the Shanghai Gold Exchange experienced a dramatic physical delivery failure on January 9th, 2026, where only 1 ton was delivered out of 64 tons requested. So the specific claim appears to originate from viral videos and posts on X, blah, blah, blah. What the evidence shows, the claim seems to stem from unverified reports, blah, blah, blah. So videos featuring an old man described as an SGE member, allegedly stating that deliveries were kicked forward due to issues. Posts repeating the exact 64 tons requested, 1 ton delivered figure, often tied to broader narratives. So I don't know, who's this old man? Do you guys know who this old man is? Have you guys seen it? Seen him? These are not corroborated by official sources. The Shanghai Gold Exchange official website provides daily reports on trading and prices, volume, settlements of silver contracts, etc. Deferred contract, blah, blah, blah. So no reputable outlets. Okay, we get the point. So looks like it's not true. Unless if you guys think otherwise, let me know in the chat. But it doesn't look like it's true. So we're back to where we started. Let's go ahead and do a refresh on our feed. Let's see, any new stuff come out? So this one's from Simon Dixon. Trump is doing a great job for the financial industrial complex, again, weakening the dollar while wrapping it all in a MAGA cloak. Gold surges to a record $4,600 an ounce. Silver breaks $84 an ounce as the Fed's theatrical power struggle spills into the markets. So, yeah, we had Simon on this a few days ago. So Trump's doing a great job for the financial industry, weakening the dollar while wrapping it all in a MAGA cloak. So he's referring to the spiking metals prices. Interesting. So I wonder, is Simon saying that Powell is on the other side? Is Powell the pro-America side in all this? And Trump is working for the GCC, BlackRock, international finance complex? I wonder if that's what he's alluding to. So you guys are saying gold's at 45.90? You guys want to take a quick look at the market? 45.90 for 45.89. Correct. Actually, I'm going to give you an actually. Actually, it's 45.89 and 60 cents, sir. But what's spot at? Spot is at 45.78. Oh, dang. Spot silver. There we go. We called it. Bull flag. Boom. Break out to the upside. It's so cool watching technical analysis work out in real time. Like, so many people dump on technical analysis, but I mean, there you go. You saw the bull flag. Boom. Breakout. 83.53. All right. 50 more cents. We break $84. We already read this. Silver. So this is from the Happy Hawaiian. Silver in China has jumped to 91 and a new record high. China is leading the U.S. on silver now. Spread has widened to $8 as we speak. Yeah, that is bonkers. An 11% move just like that. Like the day just started. Like this is how wild it is. Like even on a day, even on a completed day, like on a full day, this would be a wild move. But moving within hours, just jumping this high, this fast is bonkers. Garrett Goggin, U.S. is about to bomb Iran and the dollar just tanked lower. The USD used to spike higher. When the bombs drop, not anymore. This is a gold and silver bull run. This gold and silver bull run is the real deal, and it's going to be glorious. Yeah, we looked at DXY earlier. It's right at support. Twin says, breaking. JP Morgan reportedly on panic call to White House demanding Trump get this shit under control before their shorts are fully liquid. Okay, where is this coming from? Like, are you in the room with Trump, bro? Like, are you in the room with Jamie Dimon? Like, is no one questioning this stuff? Oh, well, I think he's saying it tongue in cheek. I don't think he's actually reporting it. Took me a while. All right, so silver doubters will be baptized by price. They're all being purified. All the silver doubters, they're all being purified in the silver lake of fire. We've got to purify them of their sin. It's not going to be easy, but they've got to be taught a lesson. They've got to be taught a lesson after all these years. 40 years of hubris. That's it, guys. You had your day in the sun. Now it's come to a head. Silver explodes to record high over $92 an ounce on the Shanghai Open. Don Durrett says, I plan to buy silver miners tomorrow, so of course silver's going to go nuts tonight. Hold on a second. Don, didn't you the other day say that you weren't buying any more miners until the stock market crashes? What's going on here, Don? No, but I like Don. Don's great. We have an interview with Don coming out tomorrow, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. Don's a great analyst. Eric Jung says, I don't want to jinx it, so let's watch what happens. It looks like a lot of things will converge and happen in January of 2026. We got a super chat from Jack Lyons. Jack, thank you again. You've been killing it, man. What's your best guess on Asian guy? I thought a Chinese government up, but now doubtful because he's bashing the SGE, the Shanghai Exchange. Audience thoughts makes me worried. Yeah, it's hard to tell. He could be a Chinese op, but at the same time, is that just because he's Chinese or Asian? Like, I could just write out an AI prompt and just have Asian guy be an Eskimo. I could create an Eskimo silver guy, right? Like, that's not a parameter. So, like, it could be a number of people. It could be, I don't know. It's really hard to tell. But what I do know is that it is a large operation. This isn't just like some guy like me, or like, this isn't organic. There's a large operation at play. I'm not going to go through all the points again, but he rolls out videos every hour. As soon as the news breaks, he's like on the news, like he doesn't sleep. So there's obviously a huge team around it. He's got like 50 different channels. And I could barely keep up with one channel, posting one video a day. And you're telling me that this guy is just doing all this himself? There's no chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. The titles are highly optimized for clicks. Like, there's an art and science to YouTube, guys, that I don't think a lot of people appreciate. The art of mastering the algorithm, which I still haven't mastered the algorithm. I'm still learning. But I just look at the way his videos are published. the topics that they cover, the ebb and the flow of the content in the video, it's just too perfect. It's like you're dealing with someone who knows the YouTube algorithm to a T. Like with the rest of us creators, it's really a guessing game, because YouTube, you'll think you have the algorithm down pat one day or 1 week or even 1 month, and then YouTube will just completely throw a curveball at you, and then you've got to like re-guess like what works and what doesn't work, and you've got to experiment all over again. It's not easy, but this guy is just like a pro. It's like he has inside knowledge on the algorithm, and he's got a big operation behind him. I don't know. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. Just my guess. All right. So let's actually, you know what? Let's go back to Eric Jung's feed, because he's usually pretty up to date on his feed. Yeah, he hasn't posted anything in the last hour or so. LOL, gold and silver will be revalued much, much higher. We are living in clown world simulation. And he's basically responding to a post of President Trump posted an image of himself saying he is the acting president in Venezuela. Yeah, I mean, this stuff is rocket fuel for precious metals. Yeah, so you know what? Let's go back. Let's do a refresh. See if there's any new posts, any breaking news happening on the silver front. We'll do a search on Jerome Powell here after this. Doesn't look like there's any new news on silver. Silver just broke resistance. Yeah, well, it broke resistance like 2 months ago, bro. Like, where you been? Silver just broke resistance. Sources are saying that JP Morgan finally secured a long position. Sources report. Let's do check on silver. Oh my goodness. 83.57 futures price, 45.89 gold. Silver 83.70 right now on the spot market. There is a slight backwardation where the spot price is higher than the futures price. You guys want me to bring Eric back on again? I mean, I could message him. He may be, well, I don't know, it's what, 10:30 a.m. Hong Kong time. He may be working right now, because he does have a day job. I think he does have a day job. You want Eric on the show? I mean, I'll message him. I don't think he'll have time, but we'll give it a shot. Let's see. All right, let's see if messaging him now, guys. Want to come on my live stream now? The audience is chanting your name. Eric Jung. Eric Jung. So that is sent. All right, so we'll see what he says. Let me send him the link to my stream if he wants to hop on. So, I mean, we're doing this live, guys. We've already been streaming for what, an hour and a half. So yeah, guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. If you're enjoying this stream, we'll keep it going. I'll see if I can get Eric on. I don't think you'll be able to come on, but you never know. So all right. So I sent him the link. He'll come on if he has time, I guess. All right. So what did I miss? 83.72. Oh, looky there. We hit 83.84. So we broke the bull flag. Now what else? Is that a cup and handle? Cup, handle. You see that? Let's project out. Let's have some fun here, guys. Let's see. For shits and giggles. Oops. That was a little crooked. So that's 84.58. So there you go. We broke the cup and handle. And we may close. Are we going to close out the day at 84.58? That will be an all-time high. Oh, looks like we got a super chat. Do we? Oh, yeah. So Dan Spain, 6162 says, thank you for the super chat, my friend. I do appreciate it. He says, with Asian guy released videos this weekend claiming proof that Scotiabank, Bank of America, HSBC, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, and UBS were all given mandates to close their short positions. Yeah, so Dan Spain, we actually covered that story earlier today. According to Grok couldn't find any evidence for it. But I believe Jack Lyons, one of the super chatters earlier today, or maybe someone else, I'm not sure. He said that he saw it on the Brave AI. Brave's AI seemed to confirm it. So I'm not too sure. But there doesn't seem to be any slam dunk evidence as far as I can tell. So as always with Asian guy, be very skeptical. You're getting news as it breaks with him because it's most likely he's got a big operation, but it's not always as accurate as it seems. Let's see. Yeah, so I don't think Eric's going to be able to come on. He hasn't seen the message yet. Yeah, he's probably working, guys. But we'll keep streaming, see if he comes on. All right, so 83.59. Right now, it's looking good. According to the cup and handle pattern we just broke, we could be looking at 84.50 by tomorrow. We'll see. Not financial advice. Let's see what the price of gold's telling us. You know what? Gold's still the same. Let's look at platinum. Oh my goodness. Platinum looks pretty interesting. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. 3 humps. Boom. Breakout in platinum on the 1 minute chart. Platinum looks good. Platinum looks like it's dang, 23.93. You know what? Platinum has been outperforming silver, I believe, hasn't it? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it just started outperforming silver this year. So let's chart them both next to each other. Let's see who's winning the race so far. Is it platinum or is it gold? Or sorry, platinum or is it silver? So you've got platinum here in green, silver here in white, but let's do a year to date. Oh, okay. So it's actually silver that's ahead. But from a 1 year standpoint, yeah, silver's still ahead, 176. I stand corrected, actually. Silver was at an all-time high on the 29th of December. Or sorry, platinum was at an all-time high on the 29th. Silver's at an all-time high right now. But I will say this. Platinum to silver looks good. So here's the price of platinum. Let me redraw these lines. So it should look, yeah, this is a descending wedge. Be something like this. And typically with these descending wedges, when you see it come down like this, it usually is a signal for the upside. So platinum is super cheap relative to silver. And this chart basically tells us that you can buy more platinum per unit ounce of silver than at any other point in time, pretty much. Like platinum priced in silver is dirt cheap, at least as far back as 1986, because that's as far as the chart goes. I think that pretty much covers it. Any other news coming down, guys? Or should we wrap it up? What do you think? Let's take one last, well, not one last look, but let's take another look at silver. See what we've been up to. 83.46. Japanese interest rates are coming down a bit tonight. Oil. Oh, interesting. Oil's getting a bit tonight. Yeah, we covered the Fed investigation earlier in the live stream. I see some of you guys pointing that out. Yeah, so silver, I mean, not silver, oil, interestingly enough, $59.20. And you know what? Oil being what it is today, being fairly depressed levels, is bullish for the mining stocks. Because think about it. What do the mining stocks need? What do the mining companies need to be profitable? They need high metals prices, high gold and silver prices, check, and low cost, right? That's your profit margin. What goes into their costs? Heavy machinery, energy, right? Oil, low oil prices. That's a tailwind for the mining stock. So oil being what it is today, I mean, check this out on the monthly candlesticks. Yeah, this is another descending wedge, similar, or not a descending wedge, more like a channel, so to speak. But kind of a weak bull flag or something. At any rate, oil's pretty cheap. I'll just leave it at that compared to where it's been. $59. $59 oil adjusted for inflation, it's ridiculously cheap. So if I price oil in gold as opposed to the dollar, you'll notice, let me turn. This is when oil hit like negative $30. So it just screws up the entire chart, but we can fix that if we do a line chart instead. Okay, so oil priced in gold is the cheapest it's ever been. So a bet against oil is kind of saying that it's going to get even cheaper. I would say there's a higher probability we retrace some of this area here than going down even further than we have already. I see we've got a super chat. I'm going to read it now so we don't miss it. Jack Lyons says, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Mining protests in Peru, Chile, and Argentina fires. Yeah, protests are revving up in South America too. The entire world is blowing up, guys. Like I remember last year when I would get like preppers on my channel and stuff, and just like the typical guys I interview, I would ask them like, so where do you think is the best place to move, given the fact that the world's pretty much going down there's a messy transition. Let's just put it that way. There's a transition in place, and it's getting really messy. So where do you think is the best place to move? And they obviously wouldn't say Europe. They wouldn't say America. But a lot of these guys would say like South America. South America doesn't look too appetizing now, does it, boys? So I don't know. Where do you go? Europe's going to be in the target zone. Us here in America, I mean, who knows? But South America, I wouldn't say South America is relatively safe. It's maybe relatively not even that. Yeah, I mean, it's breaking down in South America now. So I wouldn't even want to live there anymore. So where do you go? Let me know in the chat. Like, if you guys have any ideas, where do you go? Africa? Where are you going to live? In the Congo? I don't want to live in the Congo. Well, Francis Hunt would tell me, "Oh, come down to South Africa. It's not as bad as they tell you it is." I don't know, man. I don't know. I trust Francis, though. He's I'm not taking his word lightly, but it's a conundrum. Asia, if China's going to be involved in a conflict, obviously that spills over to Asia and in Australia and New Zealand, and Singapore. I mean, I don't know. Canada? You guys are saying Canada? Russia. Yeah, there really is no neutral, like Switzerland-esque domain out there. Oh, you're saying silver's dropping? What's it at now? Hold on. Oh, 83.31. That's it, guys. Pack it up. The game's over. 83.31. It's back down to prices we haven't seen since 30 minutes ago. That's it. Pack it up. Time to close out the stream, close out the channel. We had a good run, but that's all we've been afforded. No, I'm obviously kidding. Yeah, I'm looking through some of the ideas that you guys are putting forward. Canada is toast. Yeah, I wouldn't live in. I mean, if you can afford to live in Canada, first and foremost, it's like Great Reset Central. Amsterdam, really? Germany, Switzerland, Poland. I don't know, guys. I wouldn't live in Europe. If I'm, don't get me wrong. I love European architecture. I love Europe. I love like the food. I love the culture, the people, it's an open air museum. Europe is aesthetically pleasing. And the food's way better here, way better than or at least way healthier, let's say, than it is here in America. But if you're optimizing for safety, I think Europe is very unstable. Jack Lyons says, "Thank you for the super chat again. You've been killing it, Jack. I mean, I've just been living off of your back this stream. Thank you for the super chat." Jim Rogers' story about moving to Pacific before World War II. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, I asked this question to Jim Rogers once, and he says he gave me the story about this guy in World War II who was trying to escape the war. And so what he was doing, he's kind of asking the same question that I'm asking right now. So where's kind of like the safest, most neutral country to be in? And he moved to a place called Guadalcanal. I don't know where that is. It's like somewhere in the Pacific. And then Guadalcanal got captured, and he was in the thick of it. And to make it even worse, Guadalcanal is in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, middle of nowhere. So it's like you couldn't even run anywhere. You're trapped on an island. So that's the thing. It's hard to predict these things. So great point, Jack. Yeah. Well, at this point, maybe it's just maybe just don't run. Maybe quit running, face your fate, and be ready to see some fireworks. I mean, what are you going to run the rest of your life? I don't know. Silver Island. Where would that be? Silver 83.35. Well, we're going to do one last check on X, see if there's any new developments. Oh, you know what? We haven't checked up on the Jerome Powell stuff. Any new updates on that? So let's see if there's been any new stuff on that. Yeah, so this is posted on the Federal Reserve X page. I know some of you guys thought it was AI. As you can see, it's on the official page. Yeah, so you remember this? It's from Nick's order. U.S. Attorney Anthony Pirro has launched a criminal investigation into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Yeah, basically giving a rundown of what just happened. This is a clip from earlier last year.
Billion went up a little bit.
This is like an iconic clip. This is like a clip from The Office or something. Like it's like a sitcom.
Or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
Yeah, it just came out.
I noticed that at about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
You're including the Martin renovation. You just added. Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
Yeah, so Trump was the one who put Powell into position back in 2018. So now they've had a falling out. Who do you think? Let me ask you guys this question: who do you think is the next Fed chair? Do we get a Judy Shelton? Do we get like a QE Dove? Who do you think it is? Curious to see who you guys think comes after Powell. And if you don't have a name like in mind, what policies do you think they'll have? Like, do you think there's just going to be a pretty much a puppet for Trump? Because technically the Fed is supposed to be independent, right? And that's the thing. The Fed is not a federal agency. It's a private consortium of banks and other organizations who we don't know is a part of. Yeah, I'd love Ron Paul to be the next Fed chair, but I don't think that's in the cards, unfortunately. I wouldn't bet any money on it. Let's just put it that way. Howard Lutnick, interesting. But he's head of something, Lutnick. What's the Securities and Exchange Commission or something like that? What is this? Jerome Powell under criminal investigation for making everyone 268% richer since 2018 tenure. Yeah, he's been good for the stock market. Yeah, so these guys are just reporting on the news. No new news, it doesn't seem like. So this is from Finance a Lot. So he says, time to abolish the Federal Reserve and bring about free banking system, almost as if it's scripted. There are only two Project 2025 objectives under the Federal Reserve. Number one, eliminate the Federal Reserve's mission of full employment, abolish the Federal Reserve, and move to a free banking system. What does that mean, a free banking system? You know what I really want? I think a lot of you guys would also want it. I just want no income tax. That would be fantastic. Yeah, so this is from U.S. Attorney's open criminal investigation into Jerome Powell from the New York Times. Says investigation which centers on renovations of the Federal Reserve's headquarters in Washington signals an escalation in the long-running clash between President Trump and the chair. The U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of Columbia has opened a criminal investigation into Jerome Powell, the Fed chair, over the central bank's renovation of its Washington headquarters. So remember that clip we saw with them wearing the little hats, little construction hats? That's what it was all about. Whether Mr. Powell lied to Congress about the scope of the project, according to officials briefed in the situation. So this is pretty much sending a message to the next guy, because Powell, like we said, he's donezo in 2 months anyways. So whoever comes after him is going to toe the line. Doggone it. 5944. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I do appreciate it. It's because he protected Lisa Cook lying on her home loan. He didn't fire her. I don't know the full story behind that, actually. Lisa Cook. Who is Lisa Cook? Lisa Cook home loan refers to allegations of mortgage fraud against Fed Reserve Governor Lisa Cook, stemming from her purchasing 2 homes in 2021 and reportedly labeling both as principal residences on mortgage documents, which grants lower rates than for vacation homes. While some documents, like a loan estimate for the Atlanta condo, call it a vacation home, and other filings call it a second home. Yeah, so she basically lied about her home loan. All right. Well, let's do one last search on silver, see if there's any new silver news. Is there anything else? And before you guys leave, again, be sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you enjoyed the live stream, I'd really appreciate it. We're going to do one last scan of the news on silver. And I think that is all she wrote. All right. On the news front, we'll segue over, do one last look at the silver price. Whoa, look at that, 83.42. Of course, as soon as I want to log off, this thing starts rallying again. Yeah, well, I don't know. Do you guys want to watch the minute by minute charts? How about this? We'll watch it insofar as it continues going up. If it comes back down, there's a little correction thing. I think that'll be it. Doggone it says, thank you again, Doggone it, for the super chat. Lisa Cook works under Powell. Jack Lyons says, Jack, killing it, man. Killing the super chatter. Everyone else. Making everyone else look bad. Did you cover B of A projecting up to $300 silver this year? I'm throwing dollar bills. LOL. Well, not on this stream, but I think we have covered it before. But you know what? Let's pull up the channel. Let's pull up the story. We'll read through the story. Why not? Bank of America silver prediction. Let's see what they have to say. Yeah, this is all right, so I think this is it. Story from Kitco. Gold will be primary hedge and performance driver in 2026. Okay. Gold will be primary hedge and performer in 2026. Silver could top out between 135 and 309. Wow, that's a big confidence interval. I'll give them that. I think we have a super chat. Make sure to get that in. Fizzy Girl, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. So gold will be the primary hedge and silver will hit around $135 to $309. So this is from Bank of America. Okay. So let's see what Bank of America has to say. Gold will remain a key portfolio hedge this year, with the yellow metal projected to average $4,538 an ounce in 2026. But history suggests silver prices could peak between $135 and $309, according to Michael Widmer, head of metals research at Bank of America. He says, quote unquote, gold continues to stand out as a hedge and alpha source. Widmer said in a Monday report, Bank of America sees tightening market conditions and strong earning sensitivity position gold as a key hedge and potential return driver in 2026. Thank you for the super chat, Navy vet. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much for the generosity. B of A's 2026 outlook is based on their projection of falling supply and rising costs in the gold sector. Widmer expects the 13 major North American gold miners to produce 19.2 million ounces this year, a decline of 2% from 2025, adding that most market forecasts for output are too optimistic. If you think this is bad, get a look at the silver demand supply deficit. It's even worse. Widmer projects average all-sustaining costs will rise 3% to about $1,600 per ounce, a level slightly above the market consensus. So this is interesting because, as we looked at before, energy prices are pretty low. But what I think is happening here is that all the easy gold to mine out has been mined out. So it's kind of like a tube. Like a when you first open a tube like of gel or something, it's easy to pull out the gel. Or like say toothpaste. Let's just go with toothpaste. Say you've got a tube of toothpaste, you open it up, the toothpaste comes out pretty easily at first. And then when you get to the end game, like you've got to squeeze it really hard, you got to fold the thing and get as much toothpaste as you can out of it. It takes much more effort to get the toothpaste out. So is that what we're seeing here? He also expects a strong increase in profitability for the producers, with total EBITDA projected to rise 41% to around $65 billion in 2026. B of A expects gold to average $45.38 an ounce in real terms. So what, is he not pricing it in dollars? Over 2026, while silver, platinum, and palladium are also expected to see higher prices, reflecting the bank's positive outlook for precious metals as a whole. Widmer said silver may appeal more to investors willing to take higher risk for extra upside, and noted that the current gold to silver ratio of around 59 suggests silver could still outperform gold. Well, hey, let's take a look at that, shall we? I'm going to do the silver to gold. I like the silver to gold ratio better as opposed to the gold to silver ratio, because it tells us how underpriced silver is relative to gold. It's much easier to conceptualize, right? So like when I see a chart like this, like I can see that silver is priced in gold all the way down here compared to where it was in the 70s and what is this, 80s. And again, this is a log chart. So we have spiked up higher here, but in the grand scheme of things, we're back up to levels not seen since 2013. In the grand scheme of things, 12 years is not that long. Gold's been around for 2,000, 3,000 years. So, and that's on a log scale. So if you look at it on a linear scale, check that bad boy out. We just woke up from the nap, essentially. So silver to gold ratio looks fantastic. So, yeah, well, that's pretty much it. So Widmer noted that the precious metals now represent 4% of the total financial market, but within the professional investment sector, high net worth investors only hold 0.5%. Growing interest in gold comes as many investors continue to question the reliability of the traditional 60-40 portfolio. Widmer said research now shows that holding a 20% portfolio in gold can be an effective strategy. Boom. Precious metals represent 4% of the total financial market and 0.5% of high net worth investor portfolio. What happens when both of those allocations move up to 20%? Again, capital rotation, guys. Capital is going from bonds to somewhere else. It's going from crypto, growth. That time has had its time in the sun. I think it may still go up in nominal terms. Don't get me wrong, but from the charts that we've looked at earlier in this show today, we've reversed that 40-year trend. We're heading out of this fourth turning. We're at the tail end of the fourth turning. It's about to get wild for the next few years, and then we'll be in a first turning, and then a second turning. And history tells us that metals rally within the first and second turnings. And that's where we're heading. And the end of the fourth turning. When you run the analysis, so this is a quote from him, when you run the analysis since 2020, you can actually justify that retail investors should have a gold share of well above 20%, he said. You can even justify 30%. Man, 30% would be bonkers. Where would that put silver? Let's not forget about silver, too. Silver is a much smaller market than gold. Silver is like a peon compared to gold. But it's not just retail investors who stand to benefit from further diversification into gold. Widmer said he expects central banks to continue buying gold even as official reserves hit milestone levels in 2025. He noted that central bank gold reserves have surpassed their holdings of U.S. treasuries. Gold now represents an average of about 15% of total central bank reserves. However, his modeling indicates that reserves would be fully optimized with an average gold allocation of around 30%. So essentially a doubling of their current reserves. Oh, Jack. Wow. You're a Zoomer and you have a 30% holding in silver? Awesome on you, man. Let me ask you a question, Jack. And you don't have to send a super chat here. I appreciate all the super chats you've sent, but you're a Zoomer. I'm a millennial, but your peer group, what about the rest of the Zoomers? Do you see any interest in gold and silver from your friends, like from the Zoomers out there in the chat? If we have any other Zoomers in the chat, I'd like to get your thoughts as well. But me as a millennial, I'm starting to see some interest from my friends, but I feel like my friends are kind of biased because they know I have a gold and silver channel. And so they're probably more informed than other millennials. But I'm curious, like, are you Zoomers starting to get into the precious metals? So I'll wait for your response, Jack. And again, you don't have to send a super chat. You've sent a ton of super chats. I really appreciate it, my friend. I'll just look out for your chat here as we continue on. So we'll finish up the article here. Whichever portfolio you're looking at, whether it's a central bank portfolio or an institutional portfolio, they can benefit from diversification into gold. He said. Widmer added that gold's massive price gain in 2025 means it will be difficult for some portfolio managers to ignore in the new year. What about the silver call? Do we miss that? That's somewhere around here. Yeah, so Jack says he's been stacking for 2.5 years. Good on you, my friend. Yeah, so where's the silver price he's talking about? So he mentioned, oh, we skipped this entire thing. I didn't even notice. So he says, meanwhile, we'll take a 55 increase in this $8,000 gold. Okay, here's the silver side. Widmer said silver may appeal more to investors willing to take higher risks. You mentioned the gold to silver ratio. Yeah, we talked about that. Well, the 1980, so he cited the historical ratio low of 32 in 2011, that's gold to silver ratio, as implying a silver price high of $135, while the 1980 low of 14 in the ratio suggests a silver price of $309. So that's pretty, like, guys, like compared to the analysis that I showed you just now, like my analysis that I just went through, the interest rates, the ratios, like he just looked at a simple gold to silver ratio, made this call. Like we looked at the cup and handle patterns, we projected out based on the previous patterns. We looked at machine learning models. Like we blew like whatever, like if that's all he did, we blew his analysis out the water, guys. Okay, Brojo Gen X John, thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it, my friend. So he says, let this sink in. 1964 minimum wage was $1.25 an hour. That's 5 silver quarters. That is equivalent to $75 an hour minimum wage today. That's how bad it is. That's a great point. You know, people talk about $10 minimum wage, $15 minimum wage, and I get it. I mean, I'm a free market guy as well. The government shouldn't compel businesses to, you know, on how they spend money on their employees and their resources. But even be that as it may, like priced in real terms, like a $15 minimum wage it's still pretty cheap. That just goes to show how horrible the job market is. We're all being underpaid, essentially. I think at this point. Let's see. I just want to make sure Jack didn't leave another message. So I did ask him a question. Okay, so I'm going to put this message up here. So this is not a super chat from you, Jack, but you've sent so many super chats. You know, this one's on the house. I've been screaming to all my friends and family that no one listens. One guy has $10,000 in gold, but that's it. It's scary. We need to educate people. Good work, Danny. Yeah. So for just to recap, Jack is a Zoomer. He has 30% of his portfolio in silver. And basically, none of his friends and family listen. And basically, the closest thing he's got to a stacker is like this one guy who's got about $10,000 in gold. So yeah, guys, I mean, we are still early into this thing. It's not even funny. Why is street value so high in Japan? Street value? Michael, what do you mean by that, street value? I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's pretty much the article. You know what? I know I've been trying to wrap up now for like an hour, and you guys keep sucking me back in. But let's do another checkup on silver. 83.32 silver futures price. 45.82 on the gold side of things. Platinum 23.71. Boom, copper. $6 copper. It's all coming together. What's oil at? Dang, energy is all green so far tonight. Nat gas is up 2%. Oil is pretty much flat, $59. You know what? Let's take a look at copper. I'm interested to see what copper has been up to. So yeah, copper is killing it. So here's your copper chart. New all-time high. Broke out of this thing. An increasing wedge pattern. Boom. Breakout. And let's do a minute by minute. Minute by minute. Candlesticks. So yeah, copper is rallying on the minute by minute chart. So yeah, it's something like this going on in copper, right? Kind of a bull flag. Boom, breakout. Yeah, copper looks good. $6 a pound copper. Yeah, guys. I mean, look, this is not just a precious metals thing. This is something much greater because you're seeing copper breakout. You're seeing platinum breakout. You're seeing rare earth metals breakout. Like, here's your rare earth metals. I'll just do, you know what? We'll do this. So your rare earth metals have broken out. Your lithium futures. Do you have any lithium futures? You know what? We'll just do LIT, the lithium miners. Lithium miners have broken out. Nickel is breaking out right now. So it's game on across the metals complex. What we're seeing in gold and silver is having reverberations across the entire metals complex and the commodities complex. Oh, you want to look at uranium? We'll look at uranium. Uranium looks good too. You want to extend this out. Uranium's at 82.55. I think uranium looks good too. I don't have any uranium stocks, but as I sold my uranium stocks last year, and I bought more mining stocks and oil services stocks. But here's your mining stocks. They've just been moving in this channel. Let's look at it from a 1 day. There's your bull flag breakout. Uranium miners look good. Thank you for the super chat, Zodi 007. Yeah, I think we're just hyperinflating Great White Cat. Well, we're not hyperinflating. To hyperinflate is like 100% devaluation of like the currency within a matter of days. So we haven't gone to hyperinflation mode yet, but there's a price reset occurring right now in commodities, and it's you see it in gold and silver. The only thing that's lagged is oil so far. So this is what we'll do. I'm going to pull up gold. I'm going to make this line. I'm going to pull up silver. I'm going to put it next to gold. I'm going to pull up copper. And I'm going to put it next to gold and silver. I'm going to pull up nickel. New price scale. Put it next to all of them. I'm going to pull up, we already did copper, platinum. Let's do platinum. Let's put that next to everything else. And let's make all these logarithmic. So these things do move in tandem. This orange line is nickel. And you can see here. Yeah, nickel just started taking off. I don't have any nickel mining companies. I wish I did, but I just don't. I sold them back in 2022 or 2023. I just got, because I saw them go all the way up during the Ukraine war stuff. And then they completely smashed the price down. It was so demoralizing. I mean, I held on for another year, but I just lost interest in the nickel miners. Yeah, so that's 2022 right there. So yeah, all these commodities breaking out. Nickel's lagging a little bit. And then let's type in oil. So oil is this red line here. You guys see it? So I'm going to pull it all the way out. And everything is up. Everything is moving up except oil, the oddball here, the black sheep. So you're telling me we're going to have a commodity bull market without oil, without the master commodity itself? This is a big reason why I've been buying oil service stocks lately. And that's, I could be wrong, but the chances of all of these metals crushing it in oil not being invited to the party, I don't see this, because this commodity bull market is going to be legendary because it's tied to a monetary story. We're heading into a geopolitical new world order, a monetary reset, scarcity. Like it's all coming together at once. AI, data centers need energy. They're going to dump they're going to dump wood into these AI data. They're not going to give a shit what they dump into these things. Forget about the green agenda. They're going all in. They're going to throw a Hail Mary. And is this on the log scale? No. Okay, now oil's on a log scale. So, let me make the oil chart a little thicker so you can see it better. I'll make this the thickest possible line. So oil is in red. You'll notice that while everything's been going up, oil is decoupled from the commodities complex. So I think that's where I'm putting my chips on the table now. Don't get me wrong, I'm still bullish on the mining stocks and precious metals. But I think from a undervaluation perspective, I think that's what I'm going to do. Because you also see the oil service ETF. That's interesting. Been getting a bit because these oil service companies are profitable first and foremost. And you look at oil, same percent scale. So oil is here. I'm going to turn oil white. How about that? And then, so the oil service companies are in green. You'll see that rising up while the oil price decouples from it. So I would say, is this like smart money or something piling into this thing? Hard to say. And then you also have XES. I think that's doing similar things as well. Yeah, XES, the oil and gas equipment services companies. That's also been doing the same thing. So let's see. Yeah, just checking on my message to Eric. Yeah, he's probably at work right now. He doesn't have time. But yeah, guys, that's what I got. This is fun. I think this is my favorite live stream we've ever done. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but this is a lot of fun. See silver. Silver's at 83.30. Watch me log off and like the silver price just jack up to 84, 85 bucks. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I changed my lighting. You'll notice like this green light on this side of my face now, as opposed to the white light. Does this look cool? Do you like this better? I can change it. I can change it to any color. I could do purple, blue, red. I'll get your opinion. So this is green. I could do this. This is blue, purple, red, green, yellow, orange. But I'm going to go green just because it fits the branding. But let me know what color. Like, do you guys think will look better in a different color? So you guys are saying blue, purple, You guys like purple. Interesting. Blue, red. You don't like the green? A lot of you guys like the red and the purple. So let's look at it again. This is red, right? Red, and this is purple. And then this is green. And we've got blue. I don't know, but it feels kind of dark, like with the warmer colors. Like, doesn't it look kind of dark? Like I look like Two-Face from Batman or something. You guys like it? Green makes you look like you're gonna get sick. But hey, it's bullish news, right? Like silver's into green. I'll put it on green. Maybe if it's like crashing, I'll go red. Right? Blue, red. So you guys seem to not like the green. Okay. Maybe I'll just I'll do purple. How about that? This look good? All right, we'll keep it at purple for now. So, all right. So, what are we at now? Silver. Let's take one last look for the 20th time. 83.31, 45.80 gold, and copper 5.99. All right. You know what? Let's do one final look on Twitter. Let's do one final look. Any big news come up since we've been live? No, doesn't look like it. Well, thanks, guys. Well, I appreciate the consultation. We'll go with purple since you guys seem to like purple. And a lot of you guys like red too. So we might do a little purple with a little red here and there. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's any new news coming out. The price is pretty much moving sideways. So, all right. Well, hit that like button, guys. If you enjoyed this live stream, I really enjoyed it. Granted, I have an interview coming up early tomorrow. I have 2 interviews tomorrow morning. It's another big week. Let me tell you who I've got on coming this week. Let me pull up my calendar. Okay, you ready? So, tomorrow I've got Florian Grooms. I've got Larry Johnson as well coming out this week. I've got Lynette Zhang, Ed Steer, Francis Hunt, and Bill Holter. Should be a jam-packed week as it always is. So be on the lookout for those guests. And yeah, it's been fun, guys. Hit that like and subscribe. I did enjoy this podcast, not this podcast, this live stream. And yeah, I guess I'll see you tomorrow then. Have a good night.